Symbol. So Mrs. Donahue is having us review percentages and other fractions. I just want to remind you all the way that we've gone over this in math enrichment is we've looked at the percent symbol and we've slowed down. A lot of you have seen percent problems since the time you were in 3rd and 4th grade as a matter of formal education. Probably before that you've heard your parents talk about percentages. Maybe you were at the store and your parents said, "Oh, we have to pay 6% sales tax." So the total amount due is not $1 for a $1 item at the store, but $1 plus 6% of $1, so $1.06. But wherever you first encountered percentages and percent symbols, you probably encountered it as a pragmatic application or as a matter of formal education where you had to get the right answer on a problem for your teachers and compare different numbers to 100. But let's look at the percent symbol and where did it come from? So there was some people in Italy before Columbus sailed the ocean blue who invented the percent symbol, and they started out by, if you look at the etymology of percent, it comes from per cento, which is Italian for percent, and that's where our English word percent comes from. And the percent symbol that we're all familiar with literally means multiply by, so like an asterisk for multiplication, or a dot, or some people do an X for times. Times by 1 over 100 is literally what the percent symbol means. And you could also think of it as compare this number to 100. Multiply it by 1 over 100 so that we're comparing whatever number we have to 100. So like, let's say that we have written 5%. Literally that means multiply 5 ones, 5 over 1, times 1 over 100. So 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 100 is 100, and 5 divided by 100, move the decimal 1 2 places in our base 10 system of math, and you get 0.05. So if you were somewhere that had a 5% sales tax and you had to make a $10 purchase, what's 5% of $10? Well, 0.05 times 10 and move the decimal to where it goes is $0.5 or 50 cents is what you're going to have to pay. So $10 plus 50 cents. And so $10.50 is what you're going to owe the shopkeeper in order to buy whatever is $10. You're going to pay $10 plus 50 cents in sales tax. But all of that is sort of practical and pragmatic, and it's how we use percentages in everyday life. But I think it's important to remember that we're really dealing with something that is sort of a convention. Human beings, we have a built-in abacus that we're born with, and a lot of us like to count on our fingers and toes. We have 10 fingers and 10 toes, so our base 10 system of math seems very intuitive. In our multiplication tables, when we learn our multiplication tables, usually in first or second grade, a lot of times our teachers take us up through 100, so it's the first large number that we get through is 100. Maybe that happened throughout history. Maybe that's why mathematicians like to compare the number 100 to as a useful way of thinking about large numbers. Think instead just about that there are other bases for mathematics that are useful to computer programmers, or that Chinese people who have historically used the abacus, a lot of times they would use base 2, base 8, base 16 systems of math. So in those systems, rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, start over at 11, in a base 2 system, you would go 1, 2, 11, 12, 21, 22, and it would start over after every 2 numbers. For them, the concept of a large number like 100 might be less useful, because 2 times 2 is 4, where 10 times 10 is a large number. And to somebody in a base 16 system of math, you might come up with a different round number. So what we think of as round numbers for the purpose of percentages is sort of by convention that we really like to deal with our base 10 system of math. But if you look at the history, it was not completely intuitive for even the Italian mathematicians who invented it. So originally, they actually had to write out percent, or percento in Italian, and then it got shortened to PC with the symbol next to it, sort of connoting a numerator and a denominator, but they still had to put percent next to it. And modernly, we have a couple of other symbols that are related to the percent sign. We have per 1,000 and I think per 10,000, which are much less commonly used. So you don't need to know what those are, but it's sufficient to know that this means 1 over 100. But I always want you to think of that every time you see a percent sign, that it literally means 1 over 100, and that implicit in the logic is that you're to multiply some number. In the example we used 5, but some number n times 1 over 100.